Tomorrow to fresh woods and pastures new. This is the last line of the pastoral elegy Lycidas on his monody, published on 1637 by John Milton. So, this elegy was for Edward King, Milton's friend at Cambridge. Edward King was a young man of great promise, destined for the church. He had drowned in the Irish Sea. The poem reflects the uncertainty and torment in Milton's mind. Divided into 6 sections. Okay, this poem is divided into 6 sections: a prologue, 4 main parts, and an epilogue. So, in the prologue, Milton invokes the muse and explains the reasons for writing the poem. In the second section, he describes a type of life Lycidas and the poet had at Cambridge. Together, Lycidas and Milton began their study early in the morning and continued throughout the day late into the night. Besides, there were innocent recreations. Milton laments the death of Lycidas in the manner of traditional elegiac poets. He asks the muse where she had been when her Lycidas was dying, and adds that even her presence would not have saved him. At the beginning of the third section, Milton returns to the pastoral style and describes a procession of mourners lamenting Lycidas' death. The procession is led by Triton, the herald of the sea, and the last to come is St. Peter, the pilot of the Galilean lake. Through the mouth of St. Peter, Milton gives us a burning denunciation of contemporary elegy and the sad condition of the Protestant church in England. The fourth section, in which the poet describes the flowers of 1,000 hues cast on the hearse of Lycidas, is an escape from intolerable reality into a lovely world of make-believe. In the fifth section, Milton expresses his belief in immortality. Grief and sorrow are temporary. And though Lycidas is apparently dead, he has arisen from the dead through the dear might of him that walked the waves. Lycidas is in heaven, and therefore we pay no more. The epilogue brings us back to the pastoral images again and refers indirectly to the Greek pastoral poets. The conclusion points to a new determination both to face life hopefully and to rise up to greater poetic achievements. The poem follows a tradition of Greek elegiac pastoral poetry, the invocation of the Laurel and Muses, presenting a procession of mourners. The poet imagines himself to be a shepherd, and the friend whom he is mourning is another shepherd. Milton is the uncouth swain, and Edward King Lycidas. The poet explains the occasion for writing the poem and depicts his friend as dead before his prime. It is a sudden, untimely end of the precious spirit that calls for Doric lace and autumn pipes. The principal mourners are 3: the pastoral landscape with its shepherds representing poetry, the spirit of river Cam representing scholarship, and St. Peter representing religion. Again, in the pastoral tradition, the poet reproaches the god for not saving the dead man from disaster. The nymphs of the sea had not come to his rescue. But then the poet realizes that they could have done nothing to avert calamity. It was an ill-fated ship, built in an eclipse, and tragedy was inevitable. Milton also employs a pastoral practice of depicting the nature as sharing the grief of the human world. The woods and the hills, the caves and the rivers are described as mourning for Lycidas. Milton gives a list of flowers that are to be offered in the honor of the dead. The famous digression in Lycidas on fame and the corrupt clergy are also in line with the pastoral tradition. The note of grief and loss gives way to the note of reconciliation, resignation, and even rapture at the end. Milton claims that Lycidas is not dead and is in heaven, keeping the company of saints and angels and acting as a guardian spirit of the Irish Sea.